computer or you can handwrite notes, whatever you find easier. I am never the type of person that's going to tell you don't handwrite notes. If you would rather handwrite, that's cool. If you would rather type them on the computer, that's cool too. So, there are going to be two things that we're going to talk about as we continue our lecture on computers today. We're going to talk about the different types of Microsoft Office software, and there are 7 that we're going to learn about today. We're also going to talk about different font types. So, Microsoft Office is, without a doubt, the most common application softwares that you will find in the business world. So understanding a little bit about what you can do on each of the softwares is obviously going to be important for the scope and sequence of your future classes. What did we say existed before Microsoft Office? If I wanted to do spreadsheet work, what program did I use? Lotus. I used Lotus. If I wanted to do word processing, I used WordPerfect. How many people remember using WordPerfect back in the day? Okay, cool. A lot of you do. How many of you remember using Lotus? Okay, only a couple. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about the things that we can do with the 7 most common Microsoft Office softwares. So the first one that we always mention is, of course, Microsoft Word. And this is what we just completed. So what can we do with Microsoft Word? What are the common everyday tasks that you would use Microsoft Word for?
Typing up documents.
Documents. Create documents. Document creation. What else?
Editing.
So, document editing. What else? We're going to use email for Outlook, but you could type up an email in Word and then copy paste it into an email if you wanted to. So we'll classify that under document creation. What?
Mail mergers.
Yeah, mail mergers, absolutely. How many of you actually do mail mergers on a regular basis? How many of you like mail mergers? Wow.
It's a lot easier
That is way easier.
than having to write every address out.
Yeah, fair enough. I think back in the days when I was in high school and we had to do them in WordPerfect, they were awful. Absolutely awful. You have one character off and everything would just go, would go away. What else can we do in Microsoft Word?
Tables.
Tables, absolutely. Doing good. What else?
Highlighting.
Give me a specify.
When we did the highlight of the word.
Okay. I would call that document editing.
Okay.
Okay. We can create resumes. You can do resumes in it.
PDFs.
You can save them as PDFs, which is big. By the way, just as a heads up, the converter that's installed on Office 2010, if you're trying to convert a PDF to a Word file, is not that good. Have any of you actually tried to use that yet? Okay, a couple of you have. I've had very, very, very bad luck with it. Trying to take a PDF of something that I created and bounce it back to Word is not working. Now, saving a Word document as a PDF works flawlessly. But the other way around, you've got to be careful. You've got to check it because it might misrecognize a character. If you're using an unrecognizable font, it can be a problem. You can also do flyers in there. And in my HR class, if you guys have me for HR, I always have you do a flyer for the business or the company that you're researching.
Avery templates.
What?
Avery templates.
Avery templates. I would. So that's like labels, merges and labels. Yes, but absolutely. So you could use a label maker. I agree.
I was going to say you can create forms.
Yeah.
So I use business cards and things like that.
Business cards. Yeah. And that's a pretty good overview of what you can do in Word. I'm sure there are a few other things, but I think these are the big items. So let me read this for everybody who's at home. You can use Microsoft Word for document creation, document editing, mail mergers, tables, resumes, saving a document as a PDF, flyers to make labels, forms, and business cards. The next Microsoft Office software we'll talk about is Microsoft Excel. So prior to Excel, we used Lotus 1, 2, 3. That was the common software in business. Now with Excel, we can do a lot more, and we can take it to a new level. What can we use Excel for? Spreadsheets. That is the primary function of Excel for spreadsheets. We will start Excel next week. What else? Formulas. So I'm going to call that equations, because we can use it to create equations. Create formulas, absolutely. Graphs.
Reports.
Graphs, charts, reports. Anything else?
You can actually
What? Yeah, and I'll classify that, Doris. It's just general accounting procedures. You can do anything you want in accounting with Excel. This is why. Let me very, very, very much specify this to you. You will hear me repeat this until I'm blue in the face. Do not sell that Excel book back. You won't need it for your accounting classes. You won't need it for your finance classes. You won't need it for all of your future classes. That is the most important book that you buy in this entire program. The Excel book is everything.
Believe it or not, you need it when you work.
And you need it when you work too. I mean, you can use it. The stuff that they'll show you how to do in there, you can use for work too. And that book is comprehensive. It's the best book you can buy in this program. Do not sell that book back. So these are basically what you can use Excel for. Microsoft PowerPoint is our next one. So what do we use PowerPoint for? We use PowerPoint to create presentations. Anything else?
flyers.
You could use PowerPoint for flyers as well. You can. I would use Word or Publisher instead, but yeah, you can definitely use PowerPoint to create flyers. You can do web pages in PowerPoint. Once again, I wouldn't advise you making a PowerPoint website, but if you want to, you can make a PowerPoint website. If you are ever in a class where you have to use one of those old school overhead projectors from the 70s or 80s, PowerPoint is what you can use to create those transparencies. So you can use PowerPoint to do overhead transparencies. Thankfully, the rooms at Point Park in the other building are very, very, very technologically advanced. I love West Penn. It's the most awesome building probably on the campus. You will never have to use an old-fashioned overhead projector. Now, if you go up to 5 or 3 in this building, you might. So just know that you can make overhead transparencies in PowerPoint as well. The other cool thing that many of you might not have used this for, I doubt most of you have, but they have a very cool photo album maker in PowerPoint as well. Anybody actually make a photo album in PowerPoint? Okay, it's something, we're not going to do it as part of this program, but it's certainly something that you're capable of doing. You can make a photo album in PowerPoint. Anything else? Okay, so these are our 3 main pieces of software. So now we're going to go over into our 4 auxiliary pieces of software. So let's use common sense here. On the online quiz, what do you think I'm going to give you to identify these 7? I'm going to give you what kind of test to do it? A matching section. So if you can match, it's going to be simple. Okay. So Microsoft Access. Once again, I stand by the fact that if you know how to use Access, it is one of the most lucrative softwares there is. If you are good with it and you can pass the Microsoft test, you will make very, very, very good money. You have to be good at it. Some people like Access, some people don't like Access, so it is what it is. We're going to go over chapters 1 through 3 in here. You're going to have a solid foundation of it, where if you want to further develop it, that's cool, but it's a good start. What's Access used for? Databases. In reports. Databases and reports. Anything else? If you want to do forms, you can do forms and Access too. So, databases, reports, and forms. But it's primarily for databases. Microsoft Outlook is Microsoft's email client. Your Point Park emails, accessing them through school, go through Microsoft Outlook. It's a web-based version of Microsoft Outlook. What is Outlook used for? It's used for two things: email and calendars. I briefly want to mention Microsoft Front Page because it is the software that's used to create websites. It's Microsoft's website creator. Anybody ever make a website in Front Page? It's very simple. It's probably the easiest web client to use. It's not going to be that impressive of a website, but if you ever want to make a quick and dirty website, Front Page is the best software in order to use that for. Finally, Microsoft Publisher. I love Microsoft Publisher. It is I do everything in Microsoft Publisher. I create resumes in there, I create flyers in there. I edit my web page in Microsoft Publisher. I use Microsoft Publisher for everything. Microsoft Publisher can do everything, this is how I want you to define it, everything Word can do, plus some. So all the fonts that you have in Word, there's more. All the templates you have in Word, there's more. All of the editing features you have in Word, there's more. We are in a lab, fortunately, I believe, that actually has Publisher installed. Not all the labs on campus have Microsoft Publisher. What are the problems with Microsoft Publisher? Why don't we cover that?
I never used it.
You've never used it?
No, it's not everybody uses it.
Why doesn't everybody use it? Do you have any ideas?
It doesn't come along with the package, does it?
That's exactly right. Microsoft Publisher, most of the packages, it does not come along with. And standalone, if you were to buy it today standalone, you're looking at $150 just for that piece of software by itself. So can you ask a bunch of students to buy an Office software package, then buy Microsoft Publisher? Probably not. People would be upset. It just wouldn't happen. But I love Publisher. It's cool. If you have a chance to ever learn it and use it, it's great. And it can do everything Word can do plus some. I highly recommend Publisher. But we will not be going over it or using it in here. Any questions? Okay. So, obviously, how are we going to test this on a quiz? Well, not multiple choice. I'm going to do a matching section. I'm going to list all 7 of the Microsoft softwares, and I'm going to give you a description of each, and you'll match them on the online quiz. And there will be questions related to this, and then we're also going to talk about fonts and font usages. Bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure that I have that I cover exactly what I'm going to do on the quiz.
Now, the fonts. We
Yes.
don't have to know what they look like when we see the name of them, right?
Kind of.
Why?
There are certain ones you have to know.
Oh, yeah, there's the basic.
Times New Roman,
but-
Arial, yeah. But no, I'm not going to give you a list of text and say what font is this. But you have to know that Times New Roman is a serif font. You have to know that Garamond is a serif font. And that's what we're going to go over.
Basic 5 that I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Sheesh.
So there are 2 types of fonts. Serif fonts and sans serif fonts. Serif and sans serif. Serif fonts have feet, and sans serif's fonts have no feet. Serif fonts have feet. Sans serif fonts have no feet. Cursive fonts are considered to be sans serif. If you remember those three statements, you will be fine for the final exam and you will be fine for the quiz. Serif fonts have feet, sans serif fonts have no feet, and cursive fonts are considered to be sans serif. So take a second to digest that. Now what I'm going to have us do is this. I'm going to open up a Word document. I'm going to turn the lights off. I'm going to increase the size of the Word document so you can see all of the different fonts, and I'm going to show you what I mean by feet and no feet. So, start up. Okay. So you can follow along with me and do this, but if you pay attention, you're fine. I'm going to make the point size 48, and I'm simply going to type computer concepts. I'm going to do it about 5 times. And Doris said, as long as we go over the regular 5 types, I'm fine. Well, I'm going over the regular 5, you should probably know. So I'm going to highlight and I'm going to change the second one to obviously our default. What is our default in life? Times New Roman. I'm going to change this one to Arial. I'm going to change this one to Garamond. Garamond is the font I prefer. And I'm going to make this a random cursive. Okay. So, what does feet mean? What does no feet mean? Why does it matter? When you are giving a presentation, you should rely on sans serif fonts. Fonts without feet. If you were standing up here giving a presentation for 20 minutes and people had to stare at a font like Times New Roman and Garamond, what is the natural psychological effect that's going to have on them? It's going to blur it, and then what's going to happen to the people? What?
They'll go to sleep.
They'll go to sleep, so it's going to bore them, or they're just going to do what? Walk away, block it out of their mind. So when you create a presentation, in all of your classes, please use a sans serif font. For the most part, you're going to use Arial, Calibri, or fonts without feet that are easily readable when you're doing presentations. This is Calibri, this is Arial. Notice the feet that's on Times New Roman and Garamond. When you write a paper, though, you use serif fonts. So when you're actually physically writing a paper, you'll use Times New Roman or Garamond fonts with feet because they look more professional. Cursive fonts do not have feet. So cursive fonts are considered to be sans serif fonts. Cursive fonts are considered to be sans serif fonts. Anybody have any questions regarding any of this? That's our lecture for today. Your online quiz will be two multiple choice questions that will give you a list of fonts, and it'll say which font is serif, which font is sans serif. So what can you obviously do if you're taking a multiple choice test? What should you do? Open up a Word document and type using the font. And you should see if it has speed or not. There'll be a true or false question about something related to fonts, and then you'll have a 7-point matching section. And that is your quiz for this week. Any questions? Okay. Onward and upward, we're going to discuss PowerPoint now.